I'm working my way through Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking. Welcome back to Jamie and Julia.
Oh! Bon appetit.
Okay, we're making a classic today, which is steak au poivre. Pepper steak with brandy sauce. Steak au poivre can be very good when it's not so buried in pepper and doused with flaming brandy that the flavor of the meat is utterly disguised. In fact, we do not care at all for flaming brandy with this dish. It is too reminiscent of restaurant show-off cooking, and the alcohol taste, as it is not boiled off completely, remains in the brandy, spoiling the taste of the meat. The description to this recipe is a big old downer, isn't it? Oh. Yikes. Is there anything nice I can say after that? Or sauteed steak is very French. No. You know, it's a great, perfect plate of food when you have some French fries to go along with it. So I'm gonna add in the French fries free of charge today. I've made them several times on this channel, so I'm just gonna follow along to one of those recipes from another one of my videos. Let's get into it. What I have here is roughly 1 pound of strip steak, 1 inch thick. Strip steak, aka New York strip steak. Trim off the excess fat. Yeah, I want this to be a nice clean cut because I'm gonna be pouring like a sauce over top of it and whatnot. And yeah, you just want the meat today, not any of this other stuff. Big old bone in the middle here. Okay, get rid of that big old bone. So in my mortar and pestle named Morty, I have a tablespoon of black peppercorn. Grind them up. Oh no, come back. Sorry, I'll slow down. Freshly ground up pepper. Dry the steak off first and foremost. I'm gonna salt the steak. Nothing worse than an unseasoned steak. Rub and press the crushed black peppercorns onto both sides of the meat with your fingers and the palms of your hand, sparing no expense with it. Cover with grease-proof paper. This has got to hang out for at least half an hour to upwards to 3 hours. The longer, the better. That can just for the record, this is not like a Julia Child French fry. This is just one of my own things that I follow along to whenever I make French fries. It's very inspired by like Belgian frites. So if you're curious, I have the video link in the description. You can check it out and more details of how I do the thing. But if not, then don't worry about it. I'm not offended. But yeah, I'm making French fries right now, and I'm just gonna do it really quietly and quickly. There's a sauce that I have to make after I've cooked the steak. So I wanna make sure that I have everything ready for that so that when the steak's done, I can just whip right into that. Shallot chopped beef stock. Some brandy or cognac on hand, some butter. That's what I need for my sauce. So this is over an hour. I think it's done doing whatever the hell it was doing, which was that the pepper was like penetrating the meat. So I gotta saute this, check out the preceding master recipe. I know how to cook my own steak, but I'm gonna follow the book because just in case I don't, then at least I follow the book and I can blame the book. Heat on to like a moderate high heat. Cast iron skillet. So a tablespoon of oil, 1.5 ounces of butter. Once the butter foaming has begun to subside, I'm gonna add in my steak. It's ready. So it's gonna be 3 minutes per side-ish, I believe. All right, I'm aiming for medium rare. Regulate the heat so the butter is very hot but not burning. Regulate that heat. Okay, after 3 minutes, I'm flipping it. Okay, just keep your eye on this. You want this to be perfect. Or I don't want to like leave it on too long and F up the video, so I took it off like a minute early. When it comes to me cooking steak, less is always more, believe me. I'm gonna add some salt. It also says in the recipe that if you want, you can add more pepper, but I think there's enough pepper on it. Keep this warm while I move on to the sauce. Pour the fat out of the frying pan. So this is still on a moderate high heat. I'm gonna add some butter and 2 tablespoons of shallot. Let's cook this up for a minute. Now a lot of steak au poivre recipes have cream in the sauce like this, but believe it or not, Julia Child's does not. Does not. Add in the beef stock. Okay, deglaze the effing pan and then boil down rapidly. Scrape up all that coagulation. Add in the brandy. 1/8 pint. Boil this down for a minute or two until the alcohol evaporates. While making the sauce, I actually turned on the frying oil yet again because I got to dunk the fries right before I serve them on the plate so that they're nice and crispy and not soggy. Turn the heat off on that. 1.5 ounces of softened butter. And I take a dessert spoon and add in a little at a time, swirl it in. And I just gotta incorporate this really slowly because it'd be a crying shame if I F this up right at the end. You don't want the sauce to split. I'm gonna cut this up into little slices like this. Just to show off the beautiful color, you know? I think we're looking at a medium well here, not medium rare. Son of a biatch. Son of a bitch. Things are really falling apart right at the last minute, I'm not gonna lie. French fries have been just waiting too long and I tried to reheat them in the oil. Now, when it comes to cooking steak, I get really pissed off if I overdo it. And right here, I overdid it. And what makes it worse is that this is all on camera. I bit off way more than I can chew with this, like, the time management of this meal. So I'm following along to the cooking times that Julia is saying in the book. I took it off a minute before she even recommended, and I still overdid it. So I have to remember, this video is a reminder that when I'm cooking steak, don't look at the cooking times in the cookbook, just do it by eye, do it by feel.
It's like jazz.
I mean, it's tasty, it's just not good enough. So I'll eat it, but I can do better. I must do better. I'm gonna redo everything. Everything. It is a new day. We're gonna try that again. I want a perfect steak au poivre meal. So this is gonna be my second attempt and it's gotta be perfect. I'm focused on getting every component of this dish correct. And I mean a perfect medium rare steak. I mean nice golden crispy French fries to go along with it. It's gonna be nice. So let me just provide you with like a montage of me getting all caught up. I'm ready to cook the steak. Now, I have everything ready for my sauce off to the side. I have my French fries that have been fried up once. They need to be double fried, so I'll do that once the steak is resting. Julia says to season with salt once it's been cooked. I think I should have done it before I added the pepper, so we're just gonna find a happy medium. Okay, I think I'm born ready. So, I mean, there's lots of things to consider. Julia doesn't know I'm using a cast iron skillet. 3 to 4 minutes per side in this book. I'm gonna throw that out the window. So medium high heat. So this is what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be 2 minutes aside, 2 minutes aside, take it off, let it rest, and that's it. I'm not going past 2 minutes aside. I'm not going past 4 minutes. I am not going past. All right, firstly, I got some render the fat. I cut off some fat from the steak. I'm just gonna render that down. Now I'm gonna throw in a whole bunch of butter. Melt the butter down until the foam subsides. Over here, I need to heat up my oil because I need to double fry my French fries. Flip her over. All right, let me just sear the sides so that they don't look pink. Once it's off the heat, I'm gonna season with salt. Check the temperature. Please be 130, please be 130. So I need to remove the cooking fat, add in some more butter, and my chopped shallot. We cook this for a minute, saute it up, turn up to high heat, add the stock. Got to deglaze, scrape up all the coagulated stuff here. Okay, add the brandy. Boil that down for a minute. Add my French fries. Pan's off the heat, it's been cooling just a little bit. I'm gonna add in 1 ounce of softened butter, a little at a time. Swirl it in, swirl it in. I know I'm just gonna F up the sauce if I just keep adding butter, so I've cut the butter down into half. Okay, of course, salt your French fries. Bring the steak over here. You cut this son of a bitch open. I cooked the steak for 4 minutes in total, and it's completely rare. Keep in mind that I cooked my other steak for 5 minutes in total, and it was medium. It was medium well. Original cooking fats, add them into this pan because I can't use the other pan because the sauce is in there. And wish me luck. I'm gonna do an additional 30 minutes per side. Medium rare is when you can feel some resistance when you're pushing down, which I don't know exactly what the hell that means, but I think there's resistance there, but there's no resistance there. Moment of truth. Cut this into strips. Oh, thank God. All right, so the steak, kind of like strategically place that. I want a rustic look. Okay, that's nice. French fries. Order up. Everything about this is so good. It's really nice to have it like a very tender, really nicely cooked steak. And on the outside, you got this like sharp, spicy, like hot in the lips pepper that just like reminds you that you're alive. So for me, the biggest problem is the confidence when cooking a steak. Like, yeah, I know how to do it, but I never have a good attack plan. I take it off too early, and if I take it off too early, then maybe I'll put it back on and then it's overcooked. It's just like, it's either one of those, and it's never really in the sweet spot for me. Like, I'm like happy that I got it there the second time. I mean, that's good enough for me. The sauce was nice with the cognac/brandy. I've tried it a few times now, and each time the butter kind of split from the other part of it. Just reminds me of being out in the real world with like in a bar or something, like a nice cozy bar with your steak frite or your steak au poivre and your frite and your beer, and you're in a happy place. For a moment, but now I gotta clean up. So that is it. That's all. Thank you guys for watching, and shout out to these guys over here, my patrons who are supporting the show, helping me out big time. If you want to check that out, there's a link in the description. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir.